Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the grand final of the Aliens and Casuals Cup number 3 ANC. The cup hosted by CiremyxX is going into the grand final for the solo competition. So, unlike the team competition, which we have witnessed yesterday, today we will have the solo competition in a 1v1v1v1 format. So, this will be putting the players all alone, all on their own basically, where their own performance matters for the outcome of this match. This match is gonna have pretty high stakes as well. There's a prize pool of 1,000 euro to be distributed among the players. We have 500 euro, 50% of the prize pool is going towards the winner, 250 for second, 150 for third, and 100 for fourth. So all of the players will win something, which I think is a good thing. It's always kind of a nasty feeling knowing that the fourth place player doesn't win anything, because that has been the case for many competitions, maybe even outside of TrackMania. So I think it's a good thing and a good motivation for the players to perform at their best and to go for it. So we have the players here. We have Gwen for Team B Genius, 3 French players here and 1 Belgian player. Bad Lulu in here for no team as of now. We have Bren for Team Solary, of course, one of the participants in the TrackMania Grand League. And we have Default for Team UFL, for Team Unfailing for Belgium. So these 4 players are going to battle it out in a 1v1v1v1 with point limit 120 with finalist mode and with the regular points repartition of 10, 6, 4, and 3. We're going live on the first track. It is going to be the tech track. It is the map by Myco Gaming. You Can Be King. And we are currently following Bad Lulu, who funnily enough is rocking the old Team Expert car skin. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, going into the first round, it is Bad Lulu right now having the slowest start out of all players at the front. It is a very, very close battle, but the first mistake by Gwen, who made contact with the pole on the inside of that platform corner, so he's gonna fall down to 4th place immediately. Brent taking over the lead for Team Solary. He has accumulated 0.18 of a second over Default, who continues to lose a little bit of pace here on the blue port. 4 extra hundreds gained by Bren, so he continues to do pretty well here in this round. Most likely gonna win the round here. We have 2 corners remaining, one here to the left on the platform. Not really too big of a drift required. Then to the right, maintain the speed, go out wide here towards the exit, and there you go to the finish. So Bren will take it here with a 101.093. Default on second, taking 6 points. Bad Lulu on third, and Gwen, after that mistake, on last place, will take 3 points. So, as you can see in the bottom left, we are playing 4 rounds per map, with 5 maps in total, which have been randomly shuffled beforehand. So the selection of 8 tracks from the entire map pool of this competition. We have 5 maps that are being picked from that. So let's see what kind of other maps we're gonna see after this one. Round number 2 is starting off well for Gwen. He, of course, wants to redeem himself from that mistake that he did in the previous round. Very close to that pillar as well. Almost hit it again. He definitely goes for those risky lines here on the platform, but it did pay off for him right now. He finds himself in the lead. Bad Lulu in second place. Default already a little bit behind, 0.28 behind all of the other players. Very, very close here. Let's focus on Bren, who is in a neck-and-neck situation between Bren, Bad Lulu, and himself. Going through the left-hander now. Bad Lulu clipping on the inside. That was a bit too tight of a drift. He's going to drop down to last place. Default up to third. And it is now the 1v1 between Bren and Gwen, who is going to take it here. Gwen with the inside line, not carrying any speed through that corner. It will be Bren that is taking the advantage. Gwen going a bit wider, will have more speed. Who's going to take it here? It is a tie for Bren and Gwen at the end, both clocking in a 101.155. Both with the exact same time, but Bren actually gets the 10-pointer here. Unbelievable start to this match. Bren takes 10, and Gwen will draw the short stick with 6 points. Round number 3. That was an absolute bang of a race. So Gwen will sit there with 9 points and Bad Lulu with 7. So they could make use of some points again. But as I say that, it is Bad Lulu that makes a mistake early on in this race. And also Bren is a little further behind. Now it is a battle for 3rd place here, actually, between Bren and Bad Lulu. So 2 mistakes in this round. And also Gwen and Dofold are pretty far away from each other. The gap is 2500ths of a second right now at this checkpoint. So Gwen looking to get the 10 points that he maybe should have gotten in the previous round, even though he was behind entering the last corner. So yeah, the mystery behind who is taking the 10 points in a tie situation is still unknown. We still don't know who takes it in that situation. That is something that we don't really know why it happens. But we're coming to the end of the track. Gwen, with more speed, risks it here a lot at the exit of that last right-hander. But it did pay off, and Gwen will take 10 points. Dofold with 6, Bren with 4, and Bad Lulu with 3. So this round was quite close here at the end for the top 2. And it will be Bren that still remains in the lead with 24 points. Gwen with 19. Dofold coming a tad closer here with 16. And Bad Lulu with 10. Definitely not feeling the greatest here on the tech track. And the first mistake, that was an unnecessary one here by Gwen, actually. So he is already going to lose 0.3 of a second here in the very first corner, which is something that shouldn't really happen. It was a very, very avoidable mistake. Bren actually with a very alternative line, very wide exit, but he carries a lot of speed through the section, now fighting here with Bad Lulu for that first place. Very clutch round here so far. Dofold not able to keep up with the pace here so far. And also Gwen is coming closer here. He wants to make something happen after that first mistake. He actually recovered pretty well and caught up an entire 10th of a second towards the leaders of the race. So Gwen definitely still not out of it here as he comes closer to Dofold, who doesn't really get the best left-hander here. Gwen with a very wide approach, opts for the speed. Ooh, Dofold with a super risky line to the inside, almost hits the wall. Bren now able to get away a little bit. Dofold with a mistake on the inside here. Bad Lulu touches as well. That was another unnecessary mistake there by Bad Lulu, but he remains on 3rd place. Does not get punished for that rather stupid mistake at the end of the track. Bren will take the next 10-pointer here. 3 rounds won here for Bren, so he's off to a great start here on the tech track. 2nd place right now occupied by Gwen, who's sitting there with 25, Dofold with 19, and Bad Lulu with 14, entering map number 2, which is the map by Iona once again. Oh yeah, and to clarify the assumptions in the chat as to who's gonna win the tie. The speed does not matter. I know that the Raider has put up that statement, but it is not true. It is not true. So the speed does not matter in case of a tie. There are other factors. And then again, we don't know what exactly it is. Back in the TrackMania² Forever days, where thousands were not introduced yet, where the times were only calculated using hundreds, which obviously made ties even more likely to happen. There, people came up with the assumption that whoever had the faster PB in that match is gonna win the round. However, that I don't know if that's proven to be correct, or the guy that was first at the previously passed checkpoint. Also, that is it is a thing, but we don't know exactly. But yeah, it doesn't matter who said it, but it's wrong. Doesn't matter if it's coming from Nadeo or from the Raider, but it's wrong. So I just wanna point that out here. But yeah, map number 2. It is the map by Iona, which we have seen thoroughly in the team competition yesterday. A mixed style map with quite some spicy sectors. So this one could potentially turn the whole thing around. So here we go into the first round out of 4. We're currently following Gwen, who's finding himself in the back of the pack. Of course, yeah, still very early. Can't really tell anything here at this point. He's coming closer to Dofold and goes for the overtake here, going up the hill. No jump onto the platform, skip the ramp. Bad Lulu almost touching the wall on the right side. That was actually a really wonky trajectory, but he was able to avoid the wall, and he's still in the mix here for the first place. Bad Lulu and Gwen really close to each other. Bad Lulu now has to lift off. Didn't really hit that drift all too well, so Bad Lulu now dropping down to position number 3. Dofold already half a second behind. Now the quarter pipe. Gwen is actually clipping. That is a big time loss right there for Gwen. The quarter pipe, of course, very important to minimize airtime and to land as early as possible. And the next mistake by Dofold now, just in front of the Zeppelin jump. So the second mistake here in this round, which will put Bren into a pretty comfortable lead here going into the last section of the track. Bren is 0.4 ahead of Bad Lulu. Bad Lulu going a little bit wider out here in the last corner. Bren is struggling a little bit. Will Bren make it? Bad Lulu instead misses the finish, and he's laying on his back in front of the finish line. Bad Lulu with a humongous choke at the end of this race. Gwen and Default both capitalizing from that, and Bad Lulu, the big loser of this round, will lose out on many, many important points that he desperately needs because he is last right now. He has only 14 points, and a 6-pointer would have been a good boost in terms of points and confidence, and now he just threw it away right at the end. The end, of course, easier said than done, because you have this succession of jumps where air control is required and also speed management. You need enough speed to pass these jumps. So the end is easier said than done. And I'm not surprised that we see mistakes being made there. We have seen the same yesterday in the team competition. Many people having struggles with the end, even the top tier players. Oh, that was Gwen. Gwen making contact with the fence and completely flips, has to respawn. He's out of this race. Which will leave the top 3 here with Bren, Bad Lulu, and Default fighting it out for the first place. Default a little bit behind here, 1/10 behind right now. But a good quarter pipe, and he can be very well catching up to Bren, who gets a very nice drift to the right here. Bad Lulu also losing out on a little speed here. Bad Lulu now very low and too low. Clips, but manages to not fall off the track at least. So he will remain on 3rd place. Gwen doesn't make it either. So he needs to respawn again. Gwen arguably maybe not even able to finish here at this point, because he made 2 big mistakes already in this round. So also here, the drivers are very separate from each other. Many mistakes being made. And that's just due to the sheer difficulty of this map. Default actually, no way! Default actually with the 300 IQ move. Bren had to respawn. And yeah, Default capitalizing from the fact that he went for the safe approach. And yeah, takes the 10-pointer home. Bad Lulu up to 2nd. Bren on 3rd. And Gwen will get on last. Barely able to finish here. But yeah, what a turn of events right there. At the end, it's like Default knew that Bren is gonna die there. Not sure what exactly happened, but Default definitely having done the correct choice there, going for the safe route, doing the Marius 5 save, and it did work out for him. So he's up to 33 points now on 3rd place in the total scoreboard. Gwen with 1 point further ahead on 2nd. Bren has already gotten away pretty nicely, has accumulated a 14-point gap. He's there with 48 points. The point limit, once again, is 120 with finalist mode. So there's still a long way to go here for the drivers. And even a player like Bad Lulu, who is already 25 points behind the leader, can very well make a comeback here, of course. So, as of now, no mistakes so far. Very risky lines here by the drivers through that right-hand drift. Now the setup for this quarter pipe jump, very important. Bad Lulu gets it pretty nicely here. Comes a tiny tad closer to Bren, but Bren's still up there with a 0.2 lead. Now dropping down onto the road, up the blimp. Everyone makes it here. Also Gwen makes it here. Default, however, now after that 10-pointer, maybe finding himself in a little bit of an overconfident situation. Has made a mistake and finds himself 4.3 seconds behind. Will Bren make it now, though? Yes, you will. 1:14.095 for Bren. Takes the next 10 points home. That is a good time by him. Bad Lulu, 0.2 behind. Gets 6 points. Important points for him. Gwen with 4 and Default with 3. Last round on the map, and then we're gonna move on to the next one. Bren looking very solid here, looking to take home 500 euros in this competition after having played in the TrackMania Grand League just earlier. He's of course still warmed up and seemingly not excited and not tired of competing in TrackMania yet, so he's doing very well here and can for sure take it a bit easy in this round, as he's actually making some mistakes. So right as I start talking about him and praising him for his good performance, he does actually make a mistake. But he's of course someone that made the least amount of mistakes. So everyone of course makes some mistakes every now and then, especially on a map like this, which is pretty difficult. So Bren on last place, and that is the chance for Gwen to actually come closer, and he does take that opportunity. Bad Lulu now clipping the edge again. The edge of the quarter pipe. Little bit of a mistake there, but he remains on the track. Will, however, lose out on 1.5 seconds. And that will lose out some precious points there. Gwen and Dofold fighting it out here for that first place. However, the gap is pretty big. Gwen is 0.3 ahead. So he can take it easy here for that ending. Dofold going for the safe end again. Will it pay off this time again? Gwen will make it though. Dofold gets second. Bad Lulu on third. And Bren on fourth. So a bunch of mistakes here in this round again. And Gwen gets a 1:14.14. That is a good time as well. And this is pretty much the best situation for him. Because his direct opponent, Bren, who is in front of him in the scoreboard, actually got last in this round. So the difference, the gap, the point gap between Bren and Gwen will decrease by 7 points. Which will mean that they are only 13 points apart going on to map number 3, which is Defcon. Bren with 61, Gwen with 48, coming a tad closer here. Dofold with 42, and Bad Lulu not able to really come any closer here. The gap down to the other players still remained roughly the same. So Bad Lulu definitely needs to do some stepping up here. He definitely wants to make something happen. Perhaps this map is gonna bode well for him. This one is a very, very difficult track. One of the most difficult ones, I would say. This one can easily go wrong. There's a bunch of transitions, a lot of speed checks where you need to gather enough speed here. This jump, for example, can be quite tricky. So there's a bunch of sections where the players can make mistakes, where the round can be decided or ruined for the players. So yeah, let's see who's going to cope with the pressure the best and who's going to keep the momentum and the consistency intact. By the way, Hy-Vee also with a rate of 16. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, going through the warm-up here, and then we're going to see 4 rounds on this track. So the warm-up is going to give you a little bit of a chance to get to know the track. We have multiple bonus routes for many sectors of the track, so in case you find yourself respawning or losing out on some speeds, then you will be able to go for the bonus routes and still kind of be able to stay on the track instead of just going completely out of the track. So that's a good thing, but hopefully the players will not have to go for these. Going through the first round right here, let's take a look here at Bad Lulu's driving, who urgently is in need of some points. The French player, still a pretty young player, has competed in various competitions that have used maps of yeah, a mixed style, and he was also relatively successful at the Raider competition so far. Right now, however, he's off to a rather weak start, is not really able to keep up with the pace here, so he is dead last for now, more than 1 second behind the leader, who is Solary Bren once again. Gets a nice part here through the wavy platform part. So he continues to dominate his opponent so far. Gwen is on second. 0.2 behind roughly. Now we have the upwards drift to the platform. Bren going very tight. Not going to have the greatest speed, so Gwen will come a little bit closer. You can clearly see the speed difference, especially due to the freewheeling. The speed difference is just getting, you know, it's getting bigger. And this is what Bren did not do that well. Now he's actually losing a little bit of speed. Gwen with a really risky line, and Gwen actually goes for the overtake right at the end. What a snipe at the end right there. Gwen winning the round by 1/10 of a second over Bren, who lost a little bit of time right there on the final grass section. And the speed that he lost there, he wasn't able to recover that in the last part with all of these transitions. So Gwen is pushing it, and he's coming closer to Bren once again in this round. Now it is only 9 points between first and second. Gwen really pushing it, and those times have been really, really good as well in the previous rounds. These players giving it all here in the grand final, knowing that there's money at stake, knowing that there is, you know, quite big fame coming towards their way if they manage to win the ANC Cup 3. So, yeah. That is, of course, something that you always need to consider. And in this round, it is Dofold now that last minute decided to go for the safe approach, which is very good, because I am pretty sure he wouldn't have been able to make the normal route. So 1 player down in this round already, and Bren once again 0.2 ahead at that part. But we have seen Gwen knowing how to do the end apparently. And again, he's going for a lot of speed. Very wonky line, almost skips the freewheel by bouncing off at the edge, but then the risk does not get paid off here. He is still in freewheel mode, so lucky that he's able to reach the checkpoint here. But Gwen going from hero to zero within a blink of an eye. Definitely too much risk at that part, so it will be Bren that takes this round with ease with a 111.291. Bad Lulu with important 6 points. Default with 4. And Gwen will... he makes it. Okay. So, great situation for Bren now. Basically returning what Gwen did in one of the previous rounds. So, Bren got first and Gwen got last. So, the gap is now 16 points again. The gap has increased by 7, which will put Bren into a pretty comfortable situation once again. Which means that Gwen might be going for some risky lines again. Because I'm sure that he wants to beat Bren, who is really struggling to keep himself on the track right there. That was a really wonky line, and he will lose out on a little bit of speed, but he remains on first place here. He is pretty far ahead so far, but that was a greatly executed turn by Gwen, actually. Bren dropping down to second place, so this is a really close fight here, actually. Bren now with not the greatest turn on the platform to the left side, but now also Gwen losing out on a bit of speed, and then he goes fully into the wall there. Gwen with a mistake, and that is clearly a result of risking it. He probably knew that he didn't hit the previous corner that well, so he tried to make up for it by getting the corner afterwards nicely again, which did not happen. So a bad round for Gwen again, and Bren is gonna take another 10 pointer, so the gap will increase by 7 again. Bren really showing that consistency is what matters in this format. It's not about sniping the rounds at the end or getting fast times. It is about consistency, and Bren clearly getting rewarded for that. The gap is now 23 points. This is really looking good for him now. Default still sitting there with 53. Bad Lulu has come a little bit closer to that third place. Bad Lulu now only 4 points behind. And keep in mind that there is a difference of 50 euro between third and fourth place. So they are fighting for something here at this point. Round number 4 on Defcon. Let's take a look here. Who's going to take it once again? Bren is off to a great start. Gwen on third, right behind Default. And Bad Lulu stumbling a little bit. Not the greatest start for him. Already lost out on half a second here at this point. Risky exits right there by Gwen and by Default. And now it is Bad Lulu that actually touches and barely able to actually jump over the barrier. So Bad Lulu dead last in this round, leaving Bren, Default and Gwen alone on the track. Bren doing extraordinarily well here once again. Default trying to make something happen, goes out very wide here. That's going to be a clip. Did he skip the freewheel? I'm not sure. But surprisingly enough, he did not get a slowdown, which is a miracle. So Default now in the fight with Gwen, who of course came a little closer due to the wonky line by Default. But now it is the fight here for that ending. Who's going to get it better? Default did a ramp cut, but it did not get paid off here. So Gwen will stay ahead of Default, gets the 6 points, and Bren once again with 10. 111.36, great consistency by Bren, gets another 10 pointer and comes closer to the 500 euro and the victory in the ANC Cup 3. Map number 4 incoming. It will be the RPG/platform track Maqueta with one warm-up here. So this is a map where I could imagine Bad Lulu being able to strike back, because he is usually strong on maps like this. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bad Lulu would be cashing in a couple of those 10 pointers. But also Bren is someone that grew up on maps like this almost. So he is someone that can certainly get those 10 pointers as well. Gwen and Default, not quite sure. I do believe that they are very well prepared for this, of course. So they are for sure going to put up a good fight here on this track as well. Bren is coming closer to the 100-point threshold. He only needs a bunch of more victories and he will reach the 120-point limit. And then it's only the finalist mode that separates Bren from his beloved money. So Bren looking really strong right here. 27 points ahead of Gwen. who is sitting there with 70 points, Defcon with 57, and Bad Lulu with 52. So third place, definitely not decided yet. Gwen, a bit safer, sitting there with a 13-point advantage over Defcon on second place. And then there's Bren, who's looking really strong. So let's see what's going to happen here on the next track. So let's follow Bad Lulu, who definitely wants to make something happen. And as I said, he's certainly capable of doing so. So let's see how he's going to go through the first round here. Promising looking start for everyone. Bad Lulu with a small drift adjustment that cost him a little bit of time. Bren already skyrocketing in this round, has gained a whole 10th over Gwen. But we see some different approaches here. Bren actually going for a slightly more diagonal approach. Tries to land as smoothly as possible in the slope. Gwen has clipped the quarter pipe block a little bit there, so he's going to lose some speed. Gets passed by Defcon. They are neck and neck now going through this freewheel section where speed is very, very important. Bad Lulu nowhere to be seen, unfortunately. That is a performance that I did not expect so far. He's already 1.2 seconds behind. So a bunch of tiny mistakes right there, adding up to this time deficit. So unless someone at the front makes a mistake, I don't think that Bad Lulu is gonna recover from this. So let's take a look here at Bad Lulu. He's still on fourth place. The battle for second place is between Gwen and Defcon. Gwen touching just in front of the ceiling hit, but he does have enough speed to make it up. So he remains on third place. Barely able to make that jump. It is Bren that is most likely going to win this one here. He goes for the safe line here. The risky line to the left, the safe one to the right. Everyone makes it here to the finish line. And Bren wins with a very, very sexy time. 122.2 gets the next 10-pointer. One step closer to getting finalist. Gwen with 4, Defcon with 6. So Defcon coming a little bit closer to Gwen. And Bad Lulu with not the greatest first round, sitting there with 55. Spam also with a raid. Thank you very much. You're coming just in time for this match. Defcon getting himself a really, really nice head start going into round number 2 of this track. He is already 0.2 ahead of everyone else. Bren right now finding himself on last. So this time it is not Bren that is on first, but he is actually in last instead. Now Gwen with a very wonky landing after that quarter pipe transfer. Not the greatest speed coming out of there for Bren, dropping down to fourth place. And someone just completely yeeted himself out of the track. It is actually Defcon, who was maybe a bit overconfident at that point. So Defcon from first to last, from hero to zero. With that blunder, very unfortunate. And who do we see in the lead? It is Bad Lulu. The French player is actually in the lead, showing what he got. But he didn't get the greatest wall slide there, so he does get passed by Gwen. And Bren also has to go for the safe line here. So two massive mistakes here by the players. Only Bad Lulu and Gwen who have survived this round without having made another further mistake. Gwen now with a wonky 2-wheel landing, but recovers pretty well and gets nice speed right there. But that was a terrible, terrible ceiling hit right there for Gwen. So he's going to drop down to second place. Risks it now for that drop, but Bad Lulu with more speed gets that drop a little bit smoother. Now that jump, and it is Bad Lulu that remains in the lead and wins the round with a 122.9. Bad Lulu getting in very, very important 10 points. And considering that Defcon actually gets last, this is perfect for Bad Lulu. He's now only 1 point short. He's only 1 point behind Defcon. So Bad Lulu is smelling the 150 euro prize money right now. Bren, on the other hand, is there with 111 points. So one more first place, and he is going to move up to finalist mode here on this track. So 2 more round victories, and Bren would be the victorious driver in the Aliens and Casuals Cup 3. Right now, it looks pretty good for him. Bren off to a great start. However, he's being chased by Gwen and Bad Lulu. Bad Lulu actually getting a very phenomenal section right there. Defcon trailing in the background. Already 1 second behind, so he's not going to play a crucial role in this matchup. Gwen now opting for a very early landing. This is a sector where, as I said, it really, really matters to carry as much speed as possible. Gwen does it very nicely. Shoots himself up to first place. But here's Gwen putting up a great fight as well. And also Bad Lulu very close behind. Now the wall slide. Everyone makes it very, very nicely. Gwen being the one that gets the biggest speed loss out of these 3 players. Bren up in the lead, and if he stays here, he will be finalist after this round. Bad Lulu on second place and Gwen on third. Gwen going for that inside line, clips the edge, and that is going to be over and out for this round. He will not get passed by Default, but that will leave Batlulu and Bren alone for the fight for first place. But Batlulu is 0.6 behind, so Bren can take the end very, very safe here. Goes for a nice drop down here, the last jump, and Bren will be finalist in the solo competition here. One more victory for Bren, and he will win 500 euro. Bren with a really, really good time there as well. 121.817. According to him, that's even a PB. So, Bren really shining through in this pressure situation. Will he win? Great start for Bren. Already pressing B for boost in the start. What is that gap? Bad Lulu, 0.9 behind. Default, 2 seconds behind. And Gwen, the only one that can contest Bren for that victory right now. It looks really good for Bren right now. The Solary player looking to win this match. And it is actually Gwen that makes another mistake at the exit of that quarter pipe transfer. Bren now more than a second ahead. He can take it so easy right now. These are almost free 500 euro for him. Bren on his way to win. He is 1.6 seconds ahead. What an anticlimactic final round. Bren, of course, an experienced player. He should know that he is in such a big advantage. He can easily take this home here. No need to take any sort of risks here. And he goes for it. Bren about to win the Aliens and Casuals Cup 3. Ah! He touches the wall. Will he make this? He will. Speaking about unnecessary risks, Bren actually taking one, but he's still a second ahead. And if he doesn't die at the end, this is the GG. And he makes it. Bren, bien joué. He makes it. GG. And Bren will walk home with 500 euro in his pocket. GG. Outstanding performance by Bren coming towards the second half of the match. He dominated the entire match, but especially in the second half, he really proved himself of being a worthy victor in this match. He has won almost every round. He barely made any mistakes, and you can clearly see that in the scoreboard. Bren winning, and then there's Gwen. Keep in mind, Gwen was 9 points behind Bren, and now Gwen is sitting there with 87 points. So this match is still far from being over. Bad Lulu with 77, Default with 73. So I think all three players have what it takes to take second place still, because Gwen certainly has been in a little bit of a tilt situation. He has made a lot of mistakes, has barely managed to win any rounds, mainly because Bren was there. So maybe with Bren missing, Gwen is going to be able to cash in those 10 pointers now. But yeah, this map will be pretty interesting. It will be the map by Lamothe. And yeah, as I said, I think all three players will have a fair chance at taking second place, which is still worth 250 euro, which is a lot of money. So this track being kind of a mixed track here once again. Kind of Nadeo style maybe as well, with a couple of Nadeo elements. So yeah, this one's gonna be interesting for sure. And I'm also sure that you will see why. Especially the ending right here. With the ceiling hit, with the previous corner, and with the quarter pipe transfer here at the end. I believe that there will be some interesting fights going on here towards the end of the track. So off we go. This is the last track of the rotation. Actually, it's not. There's another one. I apologize. And yeah, 4 rounds once again. Here we go with round number 1. Gwen is off to a really good start, actually. Has already accumulated 0.16 of a lead right here. So he's going into the grass section as the leader of this race so far. Default opting for a little bit of a wider line. Comes closer to Bad Lulu. Now we have this decising sector. And Default clips on the outside. And that is maybe... Oh! And Gwen with a big mistake as well. And this is such a good round. Such a great opportunity for Bad Lulu. Since both of his opponents have made many mistakes here already. Very big mistakes. Look at the gap. Default on second and Gwen on third. So Gwen, who is technically leading this pack of 3 players in the scoreboard right now, he would suffer from the biggest point loss. So, yeah, this is gonna turn the whole turntable, score table around. Wow. So let's take a look here. Bad Lulu taking the end very, very safe. And he makes it. Bad Lulu 118.9. And here we have Default many, many seconds behind. Even goes for the safe finish here. A whopping 9.5 seconds behind. Default on second, Gwen on third. Anticlimactic round. So Gwen up to 91. Bad Lulu, as I said, the one that capitalized from this round. He's now only 4 points behind Gwen. Keep in mind, Bad Lulu was dead last at some point of this match. So Bad Lulu actually with a great recovery. He did not give up. And he just continued to really do well in many, many rounds. So Bad Lulu, really someone that is mentally strong in situations like this. And right now he's leading the race once again. Gwen, maybe kind of the opposite to Bad Lulu. He was contesting Bren in many, many rounds. And now he continues to make big, big mistakes in many, many rounds, losing out on a lot of points. So, yeah, little of a contrast here between these 2 players. So Bad Lulu continues to do well here in this round. Gwen 0.2 behind, and then there's Default, who is 0.4 behind, but gets this transition a lot better. This is quite a weird transition where the car is doing a really awkward bounce. Sometimes you do get a slowdown if you don't set yourself up properly. This time it did not happen to any of the players, though. We're coming to the end of the track now. Bad Lulu still in the lead. Gwen trying to push it. He needs the points. He needs Bad Lulu to disappear. He wants Bad Lulu in his in his back mirror. Oh, Bad Lulu touching the wall on the outside. And that is going to be the rip. Now it's coming down to the ending here. Who is going to get the better quarter pipe? It is Bad Lulu that passes Default, and Gwen doesn't make the end jump and has to respawn. And also Default has to respawn. Bad Lulu wins the round again. Wow. What an ending right there. So first of all, Bad Lulu in the underground section hit the dirt on the inside, lost his grip, got sent into the outside wall, was barely able to make it to the ceiling hit, ended up going on last place, and then both of his opponents died at the end and had to respawn. Unbelievable. Bad Lulu up to second place now, 97 points. Gwen down to third with 95 and Default with 85. Unbelievable twists of events right here in this match. Round number 3. So as I said before, that end is just unforgiving and really unpredictable. And these players have for sure been throwing away a couple points right there. Gwen and Bad Lulu now 200s apart from each other at that checkpoint. Really, really close battle right here. Now we have the platform section with the awkward bounce. Bad Lulu opting for more speed. Gwen getting a bit more air, but he goes for the inside line. Bad Lulu not able to capitalize on that wider line that he took there. So the speed advantage will not translate into a position change after the looping. So Gwen is still in the lead. Bad Lulu with roughly 0.15 of a disadvantage right now. Here we have the dirt section now. Bad Lulu does it pretty well here, but Gwen as well. We have lost Default. He's 2.5 behind, so he's not going to play a crucial role here at the ending. Now the ceiling hit. Bad Lulu clips on the left side. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Bad Lulu tried to approach the quarter pipe from as much left as possible to get the flattest possible line. And then one of his left wheels got stuck in the edge there. But lucky for him that he did not get punished for that mistake. Bad Lulu remains on second place, but he gets passed by Gwen in the global scoreboard. Once again, 105 to 103, and Default, unlucky for him that he wasn't really able to capitalize from the mistakes, because he did mistakes as well. So Default definitely in dire need of a bunch of those 10-pointers. He needs them right now. Otherwise, you will have to settle with that 4th place. Last round on this track, and it is Bad Lulu and Gwen once again off to a good start. this section. Very important to carry as much speed as possible. Default unable to come any closer. He's now already half a second behind. So the battle for this round is between Bad Lulu and Gwen. Bad Lulu now. Oh, that was so close to losing his speed. His car was really tilted on 2 wheels, but he was able to stabilize and remains in front of his direct opponent, who is Gwen for Team B Genius. Now the grass section. Gwen gets it a bit nicer. Doesn't really steer as much on the grass. So on grass, you want to minimize the steering. And Gwen does that a little bit better here. And also on the dirt, he's now getting the speed and goes up for the upper hand here. More speed for Gwen going into the underground section. Bad Lulu with a small release. Now the ceiling hit. Bad Lulu gets it better. And now it is the quarter pipe jump. Who's going to get it here? Gwen with the earlier landing, but Bad Lulu keeps the same amount of speed, but he gets the slowdown from the ramp. And he doesn't even decide to respawn immediately. Bad Lulu contemplating life as he fell down onto the grass surface. Bad Lulu gets the slowdown as he clips the ramp, and that is perfect for Gwen. That is as best as it could have gotten here at this point. Gwen up to 115. Bad Lulu might have lost it with this. Bad Lulu might have lost it with this. So Bad Lulu really, really needs to push for those 10 pointers now and win every single round in a row. Gwen with 115, he needs a first or second position here in this upcoming round, and he will be finalist. And then there's Default with 95. Will he make anything happen? Maybe he's gonna deny a couple of rounds. Never count anyone out here. Default, certainly someone that can make anything happen. The final map, most likely, of this race is gonna be Flat Ground Party. A map which is very platform-based. So, a bunch of drifts here. All in all, not the easiest map, but also not the hardest one. So, let's see what's gonna happen here. Especially with the ending, which is not easy to get, since there's a succession of transitions right here. Going from this banked corner, or this banked block, onto the next banked block, which is basically, you know, the mirrored direction. Then up the hill to the left, and then you need enough speed to land in the top layer to get the earlier finishes. So, yeah, let's see what's gonna happen here. Pressure is definitely going on here. Default actually the only one that drives the warm-up. Nope, never mind, he retires. So, GL being written in the chat, Gwen going into this, knowing that he can take it now. So here we go into the first round. Risky jumps right there in the beginning, where airtime minimization is very important. Gwen does it very nicely, has to lift off there a little bit, so the speed advantage that he gained before is gone again. Default a little bit behind already by roughly 0.1 of a second according to the checkpoint. Bad Lulu versus Gwen once again here for this drift. Gwen with a really risky inside line, but gets it just as well as Bad Lulu. No one goes for the inside triangle checkpoint. And they are neck and neck right here. Now, right drift into the wall. Gwen with the inside line. Bad Lulu goes a bit flatter through the wall. Carries more speed through this. Gwen with a really early landing. Here we have a crucial gear change. Both getting it very nicely. We see Default in the distance, having made a big mistake. So he is out of this already. Bad Lulu versus Gwen right here. Different approaches right here, actually. Very, very different approaches. Gwen going a lot wider, which will yield him a lot more speed. So Gwen now up to first place, and we're coming to the crucial ending. This is neck and neck right here. Bad Lulu going for the risky lines right here. And it is Gwen that hits the checkpoint right at the end. The final checkpoint has been deadly for Gwen, but he still takes second place because Default was too far behind. Gwen has risked it for the biscuit right there. He was trying to go as tight as possible around the last bend, and unluckily hit the checkpoint on the inside. But then again, the second place was enough to become a finalist. So he is now going to go into his first finalist attempt. Bad Lulu and Default can both deny him. Bad Lulu only needs a finish, and he will be a finalist as well. So the pressure is on Gwen, but also on the other players to now deny him as well. Let's take a look here at the round. Right now, Gwen is doing very well. Has already gained a 10th over his opponents. Oh, but that was a very tight drift, and that will put Bad Lulu up to first. And there goes it, and both people hit! Both people hit. Unbelievable. Gwen and Bad Lulu with the exact same mistake, hitting the checkpoint. And Gwen does it again. Wow. Default, the guy to take the 10-pointer here. No one can take this away from him. And this is the pressure that comes into the play here. Gwen, finalist, and Bad Lulu knowing that he needs to deny him because Default has been sandbagging a little bit. And now Default actually wins this round and capitalizes from the double duo mistake. He even goes for the safe finish. Wow. I'm pretty sure he would have made it to the top. But Default takes it easy and gets 10 points. Denies Gwen his first finalist attempt. Bad Lulu gets 6. Will be finalist as well. Unbelievable. So here we go with 2 finalists and Default at 109. So Default technically needs to win 2 rounds in a row to become finalist and then win another one. So that's going to be pretty difficult. But yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Gwen with the first slowdown here in the first transition. Already a very unfortunate letdown here for Gwen. Already losing more than half a second. And this is the chance for Bad Lulu to close it out right here. But there's Default, who can make it happen and who could deny again at this point. Who is going to take it right here? Default goes for the wide line and gets more speed out of this. Now the infamous checkpoint. Bad Lulu super close to it again, but avoids it. So now the neck-and-neck battle here. Default versus Bad Lulu. Default drifting tighter with less speed, entering the wall with a flatter line. However, the gap remains around the same. Now we're jumping down onto the grass section into the right-hand drift, both keeping the gear. Dropping onto the left-hander now. Bad Lulu jumping a little bit too tight here. Will lose out a little bit of speed. And now it is Default that goes for the wide line just like Gwen. Bad Lulu keeps for those inside lines right here. And Default is coming closer again. Default needs to risk it now. He has nothing to lose at this point. He's actually ahead of Bad Lulu right now. Bad Lulu down to second place. And Default needs to risk it here for the top finish. But Bad Lulu with that inside line. But Default gets the left finish. It is a tie! And Bad Lulu gets it! Bad Lulu wins with this tie situation. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Bad Lulu wins both with a 108.641. And Bad Lulu wins second place. 250 euro with a tie. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this must hurt for Gwen. Of course, he is the big loser of this match. He was contesting for first and now he's thrown down to third, which is for sure not what he expected going into this match. So now he needs to deny Default. It looks pretty good right here. Default needs to win 2 rounds in a row. Gwen only needs to win this one and it's over and out. Gwen struggling a little bit with hitting that optimal line, but he remains in the lead since Default is quite far behind. Default finding himself roughly 0.3 behind at this point, but Gwen with a wonky landing onto the platform clips the edge, and Default is coming dangerously close now. He is smelling Gwen's exhaust right now. Jumping onto the platform section now. Oh, Default jumping super far left. That is maybe not the best strat right here. But he comes a tad closer again. Still Gwen with the advantage. 0.2 of a second. He can take it easy right there at the end. He doesn't really need to risk it. Oh, he jumps. But he makes it. And Gwen finishes it off here on third place. GG. Bren wins the Aliens and Casuals Cup number 3 in the solo department. Bren wins 500 euro. Bad Lulu on second after an amazing fight and a great comeback as well. Takes second place at 250 euro. Gwen takes third with 150. And Default with the fourth place with 100 euro still. Can for sure be happy for getting this far. GG to all players.